Ryan Garcia versus Manny Pacquiao. He put it on his IG. Is it true? Is it real? I don't know. Before we get into it, hit the thumbs up, hit the sub, hit the bell. You know what to do. And with that being said, let's get into the video. Now, before I break down this fight, because I already talked about it once, so this is the second time I'm talking about it, I don't think anybody stopped to ask the question, who made the first offer? Was it Manny Pacquiao that reached out to Ryan Garcia, or was it Ryan Garcia that reached out to Manny Pacquiao? See, everybody's over here saying that Ryan's trying to chase this, trying to chase that, trying to clout. However, nobody's even asked the question, did Ryan Garcia actually reach out to fight Manny Pacquiao? If they actually are going to fight, who is the one that initiated it? Because in my opinion, I don't think Ryan would have reached up to a guy who's 2 weight classes above him. That's just my opinion. I don't think he would have initiated it. So I'm starting to wonder, did Manny Pacquiao reach out to Ryan? Did his team get in contact with Golden Boy? I would say that maybe that is the case, because the more that I think about this, is the more that I think that Manny is looking to cash out. Now, why do I say that? Manny Pacquiao wanted to fight Conor McGregor. We knew this. The WBA, I believe it is, WBA, WBO, pretty sure WBA was on board to make the Conor McGregor versus Manny Pacquiao fight for the belt. It was going to be a title fight. They were going to make it a WBA sanctioned championship bout between the two, a 12-round fight. And that's who Manny wanted. Then Conor McGregor goes out there and loses. He gets knocked out to Poirier. Well, guess what? Here we are the very next day, and Ryan Garcia is putting up that dreams come true. He's going to fight Manny Pacquiao. So it almost seems to me that maybe Manny is the one looking for the easy fight, as people want to say, the easy road. Maybe it's Manny that's looking for a big paycheck. And Ryan Garcia has a huge following. And it's a very easy fight for Manny to win. I don't think Ryan really poses much of a threat. I mean, it's a possibility because he does hit hard and he does hit quick, and we know Pacquiao can be knocked out. But outside of knocking Pacquiao out, I find it very hard that Ryan Garcia puts up much of an offense or much of a defense against what Manny's going to do. You had a much bigger guy in Keith Thurman who couldn't knock out Manny. Now, you could say ring rust or not, it does not matter, because at the end of the day, that's a true welterweight. And Manny put him on his butt, and he couldn't knock Manny out. Even when Manny looked to start slowing down towards the end of the fight, Thurman still couldn't put him away. He didn't even look like he hurt him. And that is a true welterweight. So with Manny fighting so many welterweights recently, and the later part of his career, I find it hard to believe that even with Ryan Garcia's power, he's going to be able to knock out Manny Pacquiao, because while he might hit hard for a lightweight, he does not hit hard, more than likely, for a welterweight. I have not seen the type of power that makes me think that his power translates very well over the welterweight. He has great power for a lightweight, but does he have great power for a welterweight? No. Because if he did, I think we would more than likely be seeing the type of Deontay Wilder knockouts. And we haven't seen that from him. So, could Ryan have reached out to him? It's possible. Could this all be a lie and he really is clout chasing? That's a possibility too. But I'm looking at it from the aspect of this just came out right after Conor lost. Right after Conor lost. And really, you've got to ask yourself, who does Manny Pacquiao fight? Who does he fight that's a big name that can bring him a lot of money if he's looking to cash out, okay? Who does he fight? Is he going to fight Anthony Joshua? No. Is he going to fight Canelo Alvarez? No. Both those guys are way too big for him. Especially, AJ's just stupid, but especially Canelo at this point in time. He's just way too big for Manny. So now you've got to go, well, who's at his weight class that he could fight? Errol Spence Jr.? Maybe he can make a big fight with him. It's possible. Bud Crawford? Yeah, diehard fans will know it, but casuals don't really know Bud like that. So, who has big followings that come to my mind in the lower weight classes? You have two. Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia. That's why I thought that fight would be a good fight, because they both have a strong following, and their followings are two different types of crowds of people, two different demographics. So I could see that fight being big. If you're Manny Pacquiao, who do you look to fight? Do you look to fight a guy your same height, that's probably around your same weight whenever he's not cutting, that has a lot of knockout power? Or do you fight another guy who's taller, who looks defensively weaker than Tank, and who may not hit as hard? Because, I mean, it's very hard to gauge how hard Tank Davis hits at the lightweight division, because we haven't really seen him in too many fights at the lightweight division. But what we do know is, and what I've always said is, when you fight somebody your own height, your own dimensions, it's a much more dangerous fight than fighting somebody shorter than you or taller than you. Because when you're fighting somebody your own height, when you have them in danger, you're in danger. So in those fights, you are in danger 100% of the fight. And with a guy like Tank Davis, it's a big risk to fight him if you're going to be in danger the whole time, especially at Pacquiao's age. And I'm not saying Tank can beat Pacquiao. It's not what I'm saying at all. When I look at Ryan and I look at Tank, stylistically, I think Tank has more of a shot at beating Manny Pacquiao. A small chance. I'm not saying either one of these guys could beat Pacquiao, so don't run with that. What I'm saying is, stylistically, I think Tank, if somebody was going to beat him, I think Tank has that better shot. Now, could Father Time catch up? It's been a while since Manny's been in the ring. Yes, it could. Could Manny not look the same? Yes, he could. Could Manny be slower, not as agile, not being able to attack from as many angles as he normally does with the inactivity in his age? Yes, that's all a possibility. Could Ryan Garcia possibly capitalize off of that because Manny got old overnight, as they say? Yes. Ryan could possibly win because of that. But if Pacquiao comes in, I won't say it 100% because I don't think he's been 100% for a few years now. But if he comes in the same condition that he fought Thurman in, he just beats him. I don't see anything Ryan can do defensively to keep Manny off of him, because once Manny closes that gap, he's not going to let Ryan Garcia breathe. Yes, Ryan has great power. However, we don't know if he's got welterweight type of knockout power, which I doubt he does. And two, he's tall. Very tall for a lightweight. He's 5'10". Not that tall for a welterweight, but he's tall. Manny's only like 5'5". So when Manny gets underneath him, and if he can stay underneath him, what do we know when the short guy gets under the tall guy? The tall guy can't get torque to hurt the short guy. So that's why I'm saying stylistically, Manny can get underneath Ryan and be at very little danger of getting knocked out as long as he can stay under him and hit him from angles. Whereas against Tank, again, at danger 100% of the time because he can't get under somebody he's the same height of. So my conclusion to this is this really going to happen? I don't know. Who do I think is going to win? Manny Pacquiao. Can Ryan Garcia win? Yes, he can win, because we are talking about a much older man. Time always wins. If you stay in there long enough and fight hard enough competition, especially the young guys coming up, eventually, and for everybody it's different. For Manny, he might be a rare breed specimen to where he can compete with guys in their 20s till he's 60. We don't know. Hey, anything's possible. But eventually a 60-year-old Manny, that age is going to catch up. And when it catches up, a young guy who may not be as talented, who may not be as skilled, who may not have the resume or the legacy when their career is over, may beat that older, better fighter because of age. So off that, what I'm saying is, yes, if this fight happens, there is a possibility that Ryan Garcia could win. Would I put my money on it? No. Would I tell somebody else to put their money on it? It depends on if I like them or not. In fact, no, because if I don't like them and I do tell them to put their money on it, and if Ryan does pull it out, then the person I don't like just got banked. So even then, no all the way around. I think Manny Pacquiao, Ryan's too new. He's too green to the sport, and he'll get exploited. His defensive flaws will get exploited, in my opinion. Now, to conclude this, I want to go back to where I started. Everybody that keeps saying that Ryan Garcia is clout chasing, how do we know that Ryan Garcia is the one that sent the offer? How do we know Ryan Garcia didn't want to fight Tank, and then Manny's team reached out to Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya, and was like, hey, are y'all interested in fighting Manny? If the Conor fight doesn't happen, we would like to fight you. We don't know that. And if that is the case, then you can't say Ryan's clout chasing if Manny wants to fight him. If you are Ryan Garcia and you get an offer like that, you would be foolish to turn it down. Win, lose, or draw. You would be foolish. You get to get in there with a legend. If you get beat, yeah, it's a loss on your record, but does that loss really matter when you're fighting a guy who fights 2 weight classes above you? Because Manny could come down to 140, but in all actuality, I think the fight would be best at 147. Let Ryan Garcia weigh whatever he weighs. I don't know how much weight he cuts. He doesn't look like a big guy out of fight competition. He was kind of lean with his 5'10" build, so he may not be that big. He might only walk around at about 145, 150 pounds, so he'll just go into the fight at a natural body weight. So again, I think he can make 147. Pacquiao, he doesn't really make 147, I don't think. I think he's always hanging around like 145, 144. You've seen him up around 146. But truth be told, he looks best when he's below 145, in my opinion. So he's not a big welterweight to begin with. So I think 147 is the best place for it to be fought at. If Ryan beats him, gets the belt, I say Ryan should vacate that belt, go back down to lightweight, because he's young enough to where this 2 weight up, if he does that, won't affect him, because it's just the difference in him cutting weight and not cutting weight. And if he walks around at 100 and say 45 pounds, which is two pounds under the weight limit, it doesn't matter because Manny is not really that big anyway. So you're going to be equal in weight. So to stop going on tangents and bring the video to a real conclusion, I think that you would be foolish not to take the fight. It will put a legend on your record. If you lose, you lose. But the experience that you gain, the knowledge that you gain from being in the ring with a guy like this will take you forward. You go back to lightweight, take what you learned in this lesson that's about to be schooled to you, and use it when you fight people like Devin Haney or Teofimo Lopez. Because at the end of the day, if Ryan Garcia beats Manny Pacquiao, it's going to boost his name bigger than a Tank Davis, a Teofimo Lopez, or a Devin Haney ever could.